everybody. Welcome back to lesson number 2, the Chris Casello system. We're going to do some steel guitar bends, style bends, pedal steel bends over the caged chords, which is why we're going to do this as the second lesson. And they're a lot of fun. Hopefully you practice the caged chords in 5 closed positions. Playing Wild Thing was what we suggested. Written by Chip Taylor, the brother of John Voight, who also wrote Angel of the Morning. Please realize that I would never play Wild Thing like that in those positions. There's one position to play it in, and it's this one. But it's a great exercise. Okay, so for each of these caged chords, hopefully we learned our arpeggios. We know where the root, third, and fifth is, and hopefully we have a scale that goes over each of them. And if you know where that root, third, and fifth is, now we have a map. I'm going to stress one point. The objective is I can look at my guitar and see those shapes. I can see where that third is. I can say, where is the third in A? Why, it's there. Where's the third in A? It's also here. It's also here. It's also here. It's also here. Excuse me. That was a C. Where's the third in C? But it's right here and here and here. If I did it in A, it'd be here and here and here and here and here and here. And I know this because I learned the caged chords, and I really learned where the root, third, and fifth was of each one of these shapes. 1, 3, 5, 1, 3. And I wanted to do it so when I look at the guitar, I can see the notes whether I'm playing the chord or not. That's the goal. Okay, so let's do some bends. Before we get to all the bends, the most classic pedal steel bend that everybody plays is this one. And really, I'm in this position of A. So it's kind of like in the G form position. I'm hitting the top 2 strings. I'm bending the G string into from the 4th fret to the 6th fret, which is the 9th or the 2nd into the 3rd. And then I'm just holding down the top 2 notes. So I'm just bending into the chord is all it is. And the chord I'm bending into is the E form A. So here's an A in the G form position, bending into the E form. And everyone does that. You hear that from Honky Tonk Women. All over Zeppelin records, you know, everybody does that bend. So once I get into this, now I'm in this position. What can I do in that? Well, there's a few things. I can do a major third, pushing it up to the 4th, creating a suspended tension. This is quite nice. You hear that a lot. This lick here, I'm going to turn upside down and take these 2 notes, put them down here, and I got... Okay? Now, that's about it for the E form. I did bring one thing to mind, though. I'm going to back up. The suspended in the G form works pretty well, too, in that position. Now let's do D form, the chord no one likes but me. I don't know why, you never see guys playing it like this. You'll see them play it like this, and then like this. But I love this because I can do some wonderful sounding, really nice. And then we're into the C position. And that sort of counts as, you know, C position. But we also have this third on top. And another thought is, if you can bend this third, you can get a movement from major third to a minor third. So I went... if the trick to the bending thirds like that is trying to keep the strings exactly the same distance apart as you move them up. Third. So I went... Okay. We're now up to the C form chord, and we're going to do a couple of bends on this chord. This one's not quite as friendly, but we do have this. I mean, and there's also this crazy thing you can do where you can hook this string together and hear a contrary bend. I got this from, I think it was Jerry Donahue. There it is. Isn't that nuts? So this is bending two notes going different directions at the same time. I pull this one down, and that's a whole step. And now I strike the next string, and that's already bent a half step. And it's hard to get in tune, but when I come back, keeping the two strings hooked together, I get a resolve. Well, what can you mean? Crazy stuff. Okay, the A form shape gives way to some nice stuff. I can bend the root. I can put the top string in with it. I can bend them as a unit, or I can put the fifth in. Okay, so those are some of the most basic steel bends just over the caged chords. There's a lot of other ones, and to sound like a steel guitar, you got to listen to what the pedal steel guitars do. And I play a little pedal steel, so it's been fun to look at that stuff. Dominant sevenths are important, and minors are important. If you can cover that, you're in pretty good shape to play over a song. Some of the great dominant seventh bends, I'm going to take an E form A. I'm going to play playing the seventh. I'm going to leave these two notes in, the seventh and the third, and I'm going to bend the fifth into the key. It's pretty awesome. Another real classic one you hear a lot is, I'm going to look at, I'm in this position now, my D shaped. There's the third. There's my seven, D shaped seventh. And now I'm going to bend the seventh down a whole seven. I'm going to do a reverse bend. I guess I can do both. That's pretty cool. You hear that a lot with those country guys, whoever they are. And there's also, this is a real classic one. I like to say that it was Roy Nichols. It turns out it was James Burton, and I had the pleasure of talking to him about that recently. Now that's based on the G-shaped chord, maybe an A-shaped chord. They're connected, of course. Okay, so there's the seven, and I'm bending that first classic bend we talked about, but I've changed the top note to the seven. So that's a classic dominant seventh bend. Those are some good ones. There's other ones. If I looked at, like there's a D. I took this bend, E shaped D, changed to a seven. Oh, here's a good one. Another G shaped. Again, I think from the Merle Haggard collection, played by James Burton. And then there's this little gadget I have attached that really helps with some of these. And it's the B bender, and I'm going to show you a few B bender tricks on dominant. So I took this lick, D, 7, and I pulled my B bender down. For those of you who don't know what the B bender is, it's this gadget attached to my B string. This was put in by Gene Parsons many years ago, and it hooks to my G string, which runs to my strap. And the strap is pulled, and that yanks my B string up a whole step. Okay, so we did 1/7. Here's a ninth chord, which is a seventh with the 2. If I pull that 2 up, what is that? Based on that shape, based on the A shape. there's the dominant 7. Well, that's a nice one, huh? And then I guess I could do something like this. So with the B bender, you need to think in terms of what do pedal steel guys do. One of the reasons they invented the bender was because of the Clarence White would do these things behind the nut. Supposedly he wanted to have an extra hand, so he can do that, anywhere. And I'm just going to put a few of these steel licks together over like a 3-chord progression that I stole from a record. Everything I'm doing I stole from somewhere. Okay, here's the progression. We're going to go A, D, E, A. Now here's the solo. Might have been a Brent Mason solo. Could have been, I don't know who played it, but I got it from a Ricky Skaggs song that they do in B, which is bluegrass key. It was originally recorded by Webb Pierce. Oh Lord, I'm Tired. I'm Tired is the name of the song. And the first part of the solo was over the A. And I ended up on the third of D. Then it goes to E, and then a lick similar to that, but what I was thinking of was my E chord and a resolved A. So I change them a little every time, but it's still the basic. And then I walked up the A chord, and I got into this bend, which was the A7. When you hear A7, it tells you to go to D. And I went right to this dominant 7th bend, the one I said James Burton did, against the D. And then it went up to E, and I did. Now that I stole that solo, but there's plenty of other great solos out there you can steal that are easier than that. But the thing about it that makes it so much fun is you have to think of the chord that's being played. If you have that bend against the A, then the next chord is D, you could practice by just moving that bend into D. Then move the next one into E. Now, how did I know to go there? I knew my A was there. That's a good way to start practicing these. Take one of the many licks we talked about and try to put it over 1, 4, 5 progression, just like we did with the chords. So you take your A lick, then D, E, then A. Or we could do all of them dominants. Let's see. You're going to find they're easier to play certain licks in different places. But the idea of just doing the steel lick sounds peculiar, so you want to integrate it with a few other things. So you mix them up with some single notes and steel bends, double stops, and open string runs, but those are all coming up in the next lessons.